Welcome everybody to the first YouTube video on the Friendly Neighborhood Smokeman YouTube channel. I am Ethan, I am your Friendly Neighborhood Smokeman, and today I'm just gonna go into a little bit of a weird topic as your smoke shop worker that I've just never really been able to understand this. I've Googled why, nothing ever comes up for a straightforward answer as to why this happens. Let's get into it. So you see these little magical things right here? The Juul pods? Let me grab one of these. 4-pack, 5%. Just a little something light, right? Somebody wants to buy them, I gotta scan it. And that screen proceeds to pop up, okay? Now, let's see what happens if I scan Marlboros. Weird, I don't need to scan an ID for these. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Ethan, is it pods? Like, is it because of it being like pod nicotine and it's single use and everything like that? Well, let's just test that theory out. Let's grab a same thing, 5%, 4-pack of the Views Alto pods. And no, it does not. And nobody can tell me why. But then you're probably thinking, okay, is it just vapes? What about disposables? Nope. Same thing, except I don't need to scan one of these. Let me grab a Miami Mint Raz real quick, okay? I don't even need to do that. I don't need in these. I put in the price, and then that pops up. It's the only thing, those are the only thing I need to scan IDs for versus what you just saw. Now see, every single explanation I can find doesn't answer why I only need to scan IDs for that. It only comes up as Juul to have retailers scan IDs and then sending me articles about shitty parents that can't keep their fucking nicotine away from their children, and then their children become addicted to nicotine at fucking 12 years old. Like, that's supposed to be our problem! Because guess what? Shocker, I know. Maybe it's the parents' fault. Maybe kids shouldn't be getting their hands on this shit because you can't come into my store underneath the age of 21 and buy anything. Where else are they getting it? Friends or family? It's not our fault. Because I tell you what, if I have some little fucking jit be the reason that this entire wall of disposables goes away, all because some people couldn't raise their kids properly, I'm going to lose my mind. It's gonna be a fucking problem. And I'm not saying this like I was any better, because I was one of these disrespectful little jits. You know what I mean? I got my hands on a cigarette for the first time when I was 12 years old, and that was the first time I ever had nicotine, and I smoked cigarettes for like years after that. I stopped smoking cigarettes literally about like 2 years ago. I still smoke cigars, like what the fuck? Now I have a slight theory as to what's going on and why. And it's low-key not even Juul's fault. It's nobody else's fault on the manufacturing side of things. It's the government. And you're probably thinking to yourself, Ethan, what do you mean it's the government? What do you mean it's the government messing up everything with it comes to nicotine and everything like that? It's the FDA, homie. The FDA is one of those administrations and groups underneath the government that talk about regulation of things they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. And people in the gun community will also be able to state that fact is true with the FAA and the NRA, and not even the NRA, but mainly like the FAA and things like that, where people are regulating guns, but they don't know shit about guns. Same story here. The FDA is trying to learn how to regulate all this shit, and they don't know what they're doing. So here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about when it comes to the FDA and vaping and them not knowing what's going on. Do y'all remember Elf bars? I know you do. Those shits were fire. So here's the issue, and here's why you don't see Elf bars anymore, because they're not legal in the US. If you are buying Elf bars in the big 2025, you might be cooked. You might be cooked. Because here was the problem in the first place with Elf bars. The people that were making Elf bars didn't do their FDA papers, and they went under the radar for years. Nobody knew what was in them. Nobody knew how they were being made. They just got shipped in here, and now the FDA, ever since Elf Bar, has been trying to play cleanup and be like, whoa, no, we can do this, but they don't know what they're doing. So like, if I had to say anything to regulators that are trying to get rid of flavored things in general, mind you, not even just like flavored vapes, guys, in Washington, D.C., you cannot have flavored Zins. You cannot pop a citrus Zimbabwe in Washington, D.C. They don't allow it. That being said, just because some little jits get their hands on mommy's Juul pods and try that shit and get addicted to it should not mean that people like me or anybody else has to deal with the fact that these little jits can't be controlled by their parents and we have to suffer the price for it and fucking have golden tobacco fucking pods and fucking menthol vapes, because guess what? Some people don't like it. So yeah, guys, a little bit of a rant, a little bit of a talking point. Hopefully I could get some answers up in the comments over why Juul pods are getting treated that way versus anything else I have in my store. Maybe you could teach me something. I appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe. We out here.